What a lovely day! Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Talking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of the people who do support me on Patreon. So massive shouts out to Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvault, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Felix Hung, Fireball X, Godrockin, Jeranism, Kirsten Hung, Life is Short, Matt, Michael, Paige, Qatar Craig, Reinhardt, Renee, Sam, Skeptic936, Sweet Equity, Texas Mike, theflatearthchannel.com, and Tina Baker. Massive shout outs to all of you. Now we are currently joined by Righteous Force and Flatzoid in G+. How are you both doing?
All right.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Was that the Delta Tones of Chocolate I heard as well?
No, 10th man. Who?
Oh, 10th man.
Thank you.
Hello. Good to see you.
Hello,
Did you like my tractor?
I was just going to say that. Thank you for my little red tractor first thing Sunday morning.
It was cool. It was nice. Someone obviously loves that tractor. For those of you wondering what I'm talking about, I went to a classic car show and just did a live stream from there, just showing the various classic cars. And one of them happened to be a tractor, so 10th man got a shout out for that reason.
Well, it attracted me for sure.
Yeah, lovely tractors. One of the commenters was like, I really like the red transit van. It's like, yeah, okay, so someone's parked a transit van in amongst all of the nice classic cars. So what? It's not my show. I didn't do it. They had a Bond car there. They had a Vanquish. And I'd seen, I think it was an airport in Germany, they'd got the Jaguar from that same movie. I think it's called Tomorrow Never Dies. I'd be corrected on it, but it's got a Vanquish in it. And he's chased by a Jaguar XKR with a machine gun bolted to the back to it. And they had that car in this airport in Germany. So I've now seen... well, technically I've not seen the Bond version of it because I'm sure it's got missiles behind the headlights and things, but the equivalent, but from a standard car. So the Vanquish and that XJR with the machine gun strapped on the back. And I'm into Bond cars. Bond cars are cool. Everyone wants to be James Bond, right?
When you went past that Vanquish, you saw this white one, low profile white one that you really like. What was that one again?
I don't know what that was. It was nice though. Very pretty.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it looked good.
I still prefer the DB5 though.
DV5?
The old one with Sean Connery.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Hey Nathan, I think your Discord link is invalid.
It's not. It needs refreshing.
I guess.
Okay.
So any of you catch the last Globusters I was on? They had a long break and they just came back last Sunday.
No, I did not.
Anyone catch what?
Globusters.
I didn't, unfortunately. I did see that they were back there at 8 PM. Talking about, in the title, it said something along the lines of the official narrative flat Earth model was the title.
It was about all the documents that were declassified that say the Earth is flat and stationary, and everything is based on a flat and stationary Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like that's the document that describes flight and says to all intents and purposes you need to treat the Earth as motionless and flat, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know it's flat. you can't start making planes work in the principle that you're on a sphere that you've reified from a model when it's not, because people will crash.
Yeah.
I did hear Mark Sargent's interview with that missile instructor, though. I did go back to listen to that last
Oh,
night. That was
21,
good.
Strange World.
Yeah, that was really good.
I'll do a plug just so people in the audience know. So I think it is episode 21, isn't it?
I'd have to look, but it's easy to find. Mark Sargent, missile instructor, type it in and it comes up.
Yeah, it's Strange World. I'm pretty sure it's Strange World number 21. If it's not, it's one or other either side of that. But it's Mark Sargent interviewing a missile instructor. But it was cool. He did the interview, explain what he did. He's a missile instructor and how the systems works. And obviously the trolls attacked him and said, no, you're fake. You don't really do it. So in response, he flew in by helicopter and filmed it on his mobile phone, went into the instructor's room, or the control room, I forget which, and wrote Mark Sargent Flat Earth on the back of a napkin and just turned it towards the camera. I was like, sweet.
Which show is that? I would love that one.
Oh, it was maybe 6 or something episodes later on. I'm pretty sure he's got the same missile instructor type title to it, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find. But I remember him doing it live, as live. Obviously, he's playing out the video recording from the guy.
That's great.
Yeah, big shout out to Mark Sargent.
I also went and caught a little bit of some of the old Brian Mullen videos on Sunday too.
Just heard Brian Mullen. You might have to speak up a little bit. You're a little bit quiet, 10th man.
Oh, I don't know why I got the mic in. Let me try. Test. Hello.
Hello. You're just as muffled, but carry on.
I'm going without the headset. How's now?
It's worse.
It's worse. Hang on, I'll be back.
You were fine the way you were before. I think Nathan's just too far away from the speakers.
Yeah, I've got to keep my speakers pretty low so that they don't feed back.
Exactly.
All right, how's now?
That's better. I can hear you clearly at least.
So yeah, Brian Mullen had, he's no longer on live, so I found the station that had his video, so I went and caught the one on Coriolis. It was really good.
Yeah, that was the main thing. He got attacked by George Netanyahu. He clearly doesn't understand how Coriolis works. But on the basis of his George Netanyahu's misunderstandings and misapprehensions about how Coriolis should apply to a spinning ball Earth, he attacked Brian Mullen, who pointed out that if you have 2 separate reference frames, flights would be shorter when travelling west.
Mm-hmm. But how can you have that with George Netanyahu when he's got a dome field?
He hasn't. He doesn't. He's just applying an arbitrary value to get a volume, when in reality the volume that he's applying is the volume that the gas can fill, i.e. outer space.
Precisely. My point is, he's got to prove in his crazy thinking a dome field with an arbitrary value, but here's Brian Mullen giving you basic logic. Hey, if you're going to have a Coriolis effect, you're going to have 2 reference frames to even discuss Coriolis, which is so logical. It's not out of this world kind of thinking, whereas his is so out of this world thinking.
Oh, I see. You're contrasting the fact that he's criticising a very clear, concise definition of how Coriolis effect should apply to Earth, but doesn't, by Brian Mullen, when his presentations include things like force fields.
Yes.
I see. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of monsters on the globe Earth side. Can't be denied. A lot of depression too, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I mean, it's if you're inside fighting, that you have to prove it's a globe, and as you would say, a smidgen of doubt that it might be flat. I can see why they're afraid. They got depression because they're thinking, I got to fight hard for my ball because I got a feeling maybe those guys have something.
Yeah, I was discussing this with my wife the other day. It's got to be mentally challenging for these people, hard mentally, and it's gonna wear you out.
Yeah, that's a good point that you said mentally, because I'm not struggling with the evidence in front of me. I'll just accept it.
Yeah, the cognitive dissonance is gone.
Yeah, that'd be a terrible way to live, where you see evidence and have to keep denying it. That'd be terrible.
But yeah, cognitive dissonance being holding two mutually exclusive positions at the same time, and many of our opponents hold two mutually exclusive positions at the same time, and will switch or interchange the two arguments for each of those two positions when appropriate. Well, to do that sort of mental acrobatics is tough. You know, it's not something you're designed to do. It's called dissonance for a reason.
So is Arwen definitely not coming back on, or was he
Who?
just rage quitting and decided?
I went back on. He was on Bullbusters. He didn't rage quit. He just took. There was mental frustration because he couldn't express verbally what he was trying to get at, and he did on Bullbusters. He succinctly described what he actually meant. What he meant was, I don't understand what they're claiming when they say the conceptual medium of space-time is bent to give rise to a non-force force that you can think of as a force, but it's not actually a force, but we treat as a force. That, he didn't understand the claim, and that was what he was trying to paraphrase. But he was saying to us, you need to explain the claim better. He didn't, I'm paraphrasing his original claim, but he was almost charging us with explaining the nonsense of the conceptual medium space-time. It's like, we're not here to do that. We're demolition experts, not builders.
I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, he just concisely summarised it on Bullbusters, which is great. That's the show to do it on, right? So he's just said, I don't understand what they're claiming when they say this, and then concisely summarise their non-claim that he doesn't understand. And you're like, I wish you'd said that in the first place. But you can't always put into words what you're trying to get at. And in this case, he, like a lot of us, don't understand what they're claiming when they say that there's a conceptual medium causing things to happen. You can't really understand it because it's nonsense, but that's his point.
Yeah, especially on the spot. Sometimes you only think afterwards, I should have said that.
No, it's interesting that you should say, is he coming back? Because that, I don't know, over the course of doing these debates, Arwen and I, and Ranty, and a lot of other people, Quantum Eraser, Sleeping Warrior, you name it, Paula, Betty, have become closer and closer, and we talk reasonably often, and often disagree with each other in the same way we do on air. So because we talk to each other reasonably frequently, we will fall into the pattern of discussion that we will typically have. And yeah, there are metaphorical phone slam down at the end of some of the conversations, but typically that's, it's like, I hate to say it in this way, but like fighting amongst brothers.
Yeah, it's like banter with your friends.
It's not like he's gonna suddenly think I'm evil. And the same goes for Ranty. Both of them are kind of a bit gossipy, far more than I. And sometimes people will come to me and go, he's moaning about this and how you do that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. 9 times out of 10, he's already moaned at me about it. The other 1 out of 10 I don't care about because it's the same. He just happens to not mention whatever he's moaning about that day. But typically, it doesn't mean he's not going to phone me up and say, let's use someone else. Let's not use Ranty for a sec. Let's use Ranty rather than Arwen. But he'll phone me up and go, I've just figured this out about how things disappear into the distance. Can I run it by you? It won't matter that the previous day he's been, moaning about Arwen's behaviour or my behaviour or whatever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. That's just people's personalities and how people interact. It doesn't mean that because there's been a bit of a public disagreement that somehow we've fallen out. That's just not the case.
Yeah. I've just been quiet this weekend, so I couldn't catch up. Been too busy.
No, fair enough. I mean, I'm more saying it for the audience's benefit than you, Flatzoid, if I'm honest.
Yeah, because last night I go on Skype and I just see all these messages on Master B. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Well, yeah, that's another arena, isn't it? So Master B is typically where you'll see, I don't know, let's pick 2 different people. So Quantum Eraser and Anthony. Quantum Eraser will point something out that's been unchallenged by Rumpus for the sake of argument. And Anthony will justify his reasons for not challenging it, or the reason it's not worthy of challenge, or the reason he challenged it in the way he challenged it, and that will, not necessarily descend, that's the wrong word, but evolve into a disagreement on that channel. And 9 times out of 10, again, the disagreement gets settled, as in it's part of the discussion process to actually come to a resolution where both parties understand each other. And you can't have that without a bit of discourse in between.
Yeah, I agree.
You can, but normally if you're pansies. Oh yeah, I totally agree. Do you reckon we'll get any evidence of any of the housekeeping questions today? It's been a while.
Probably no. Maybe RC Micey has for us again.
Maybe. Off mute.
Did I miss anything?
As
Paying
always.
more attention to Discord. Hello, RC.
Oh, R.C. Meisty, soap opera himself, the
Hey, how are you
accelerated
guys?
coffee cups.
How are you guys doing?
Very well.
Hey, man.
Good to have you.
Good to have you
You
here,
guys hear me
RC.
okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
3
Yeah,
minutes.
Mike sounds much better.
3 minutes. We'll be live.
Hey, R.C., I did some research on soap operas, and I realized that the Globe side has all the soap operas. There was one that's called As the World Turns. You know that one?
That's very true. That's
He didn't even deny it.
And
That's brilliant.
And the cognitive
that
dissonance
is
was so
so
bad
true.
they had to start another one called General Hospital. You got that one?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's real good.
And then because they were atheists, they all said one life to live. So you guys have no hope.
That is so
Ooh.
true. Yeah, I can be called on that 100%. My grandparents
I'm having
love
fun.
that As the World Turns.
Lots of fun. I'm having fun with you.
Oh yeah.
You're still wrong on Coriolis, though.
Save it. 2 minutes and we're live.
I'm just fine with being wrong.
No, I'm just setting it up, Nathan. Don't worry.
Duralissa, is Coriolis evidence right or wrong when we get to axial rotation housekeeping question?
Yeah, as long as you don't bring up hurricanes.
Sure.
Well, he can bring up
Hurricanes.
anything he wants.
No, you can bring up tornadoes, toilets, hurricanes, same shit.
Say otherwise.
Bring it all.
The toilet one really is the stupidest argument from Globers, though.
Yeah,
I'm
that
so
is-
happy you said that.
Yes, that's actually the stupidest argument in the world.
Yeah, it's just a party trick.
Not to mention that they're describing a not actual deviation.
So it's an actual force?
Well, no, you're showing
With toilets,
anything like
you're right.
cyclones or weather patterns or water going down a direct. Well, that's an actual deflection, isn't it? Coriolis
Yeah.
effect is a not actual deflection, an apparent deflection. So all of those examples are
It's
built
a
straight off the
fictitious
bat.
force.
Well, yeah, they're not showing you any fictitious force. They're showing you an actual change in direction. Well, that ain't Coriolis.
Yeah, they can all be explained by the weather. I mean, really.
Yeah,
Showtime.
as opposed to a spinning ball Earth in a second reference frame, i.e., Coriolis effect.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. I'll get there eventually. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, Flatzoid and Righteous Force in G+. How you all doing?
Hello.
Good morning to all.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello. We've also got RC Meisty in Discord. Very good to have you.
Morning.
Good morning. Any evidence of Earth curvature?
Not today, and I bet money not tomorrow.
South Africa's still flat.
Yes, Earth is indeed, obviously and observably flat. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No, none.
Not that I know of.
No, sorry.
Hold on, this is RC's cue. Go ahead, RC.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so because you can measure it with a ring laser gyro.
Measure what?
You can measure axial rotation with a ring laser gyro.
Oh, so your claim is that the ring laser gyro is demonstrating a 15-degree deviation of the Earth rotating underneath the fixed frame of the ring laser gyro. Is that correct?
I would say that the ring laser gyro indicates a 15 degree per hour.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yes.
Yeah, of the Earth rotating underneath the fixed frame of the ring laser gyro.
Yes.
Well, if the Earth rotates under the fixed frame of a ring laser gyro, then it would also rotate underneath aeroplanes, helicopters, and anything else in the inertial reference frame.
What I said is that the ring laser gyro on the ground indicates a 15 degree.
I heard your claim, heard it the second time, and I repeated it twice, and clarified precisely what that claim means. If the gyro demonstrates Earth rotation underneath the fixed frame of the gyro, then the Earth is rotating under the gyro, and will also rotate anything that's not on the non-inertial reference frame. That would be planes, helicopters, a ball, you jumping up and down, or basically anything. The problem being that if that was the case, if you were travelling from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA, a duration of about 4.5 hours, you'd arrive in about an hour and a half because the Earth would be rotating underneath the plane that you were travelling in the same way as it's alleged by you to be rotating underneath the ring laser gyro.
So you added an extra word into what I said. You said
I don't care. It's claimed to be a demonstration of the Coriolis effect. Two separate reference frames. One non-inertial spinning reference frame, claimed to be the Earth spinning underneath the inertial reference frame. That would be fixed in the frame of the gyro. And if the Earth rotates underneath the gyro, then it rotates underneath planes, it rotates underneath helicopters, it rotates underneath balls that you throw, it rotates underneath you if you jump up and down. But that's patently absurd because it does not happen.
so. Again, you added in an extra word that I
don't
said.
give a crap what I added. I don't care if I paraphrased you. You're not going to get me over a barrel on me misquoting you, and I haven't put quotes around you or your name after it like other lying sods from your side of the argument who do that to me. I didn't put quotes around you. I described what you are describing. I accurately summarised your position, which is that the Earth rotates under a gyro at 15 degrees an hour. If that was the case, it would rotate underneath planes, and your flight from Charlotte, North Carolina, which takes 4 hours, to LA would be 1.5 hours because the Earth would rotate underneath, but it does not.
That's a nice straw man, Nathan.
It's not a straw man, it's fact. It's claimed to be a demonstration of two reference frames. This is now the 4th time we've gone round this circle, RC Meisty. If you're to claim that it's demonstrating two separate reference frames, then Earth's got two separate reference frames and Earth would rotate underneath the plane.
Hold up, Nathan. But
Not
I
hold
see you
up,
do
that's the
something
5th time
very
I've demolished
clever.
your
It's
argument.
actually
I don't want to hear it 6 more times, or you're claiming that me not saying exactly your words is somehow not going to defeat your argument, which I have.
No, but what you are doing, Nathan, is you're using your reframing to straw man it, which is
No, I'm not. It's claimed to be a demonstration of the Coriolis effect. I clarified what you claimed it demonstrates. 15-degree turn of the Earth underneath the fixed frame of the gyro. That's Coriolis effect. Non-inertial and inertial reference frames. That's your claim.
The gyro. No, I didn't. That's not what I said, Nathan, but okay.
You said it claimed to show the Earth rotating at 15 degrees. Underneath the frame of the gyro, that's how it would demonstrate that.
That's not what I said.
I don't give a shit. That's what the demonstration of the ring laser gyro claiming to prove the Earth turn demonstrates, regardless of what you said.
Nathan, you're just strawmanning it.
I'm not strawmanning you, and I'm going to kick you out if you keep going round and round in this circle.
Hey, Nathan, if you want to address my actual evidence, that's...
Your evidence? Show me this ring laser gyro showing a 15-degree deviation underneath. Show me you doing it.
Show
You don't have any evidence, you stupid dick. You've got a claim.
No. I've
Yet you've got a claim. No cowbell. Let's see the ring laser gyro that you've done this with. Oh, where's your evidence for this? Sorry, what's that? You're going to say you don't have any evidence of it? It's just a claim?
I do actually. So,
Yeah, let's see you do it then.
I
Put it in
fly
live chat.
airplanes all
Let's
the
see you.
time,
Let's see
and
you
I've
doing
actually
this test with
I've
a ring
actually
laser gyro. Put it in live chat. Go.
Well, hold on a sec.
So, like, I have to be
RC, how
in
can
the
you tell
airplane
what
right
you're
now?
measuring is the Earth rotation?
Doesn't matter. If he thinks it's Earth rotation, then by default, he's claiming Coriolis effect is in effect. And therefore, you've got two separate reference frames, one of which is the Earth rotating underneath. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter what he claims the gyro does. It's claimed to be a demonstration of Coriolis. Moving on. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
No evidence. It's a light in the sky.
Can't see how it would be possible.
So, what's his name? Fight the Fat Earth. He's claimed that he's measured it. Just a
10
liar.
years old or something.
Just a liar. Craig, right? You're a liar, Craig. You haven't measured the distance to the sun. If you think you have, I'd like to see it presented in full, because you're a moron, and you have not. And you're a liar.
Well, didn't his side change the distance to the sun many a times before settling at supposedly 93 million miles?
Hey,
Yep.
chocolate.
Probably a change again.
Yeah,
Hey,
so he's
chocolate.
just changing again.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, chocolate.
Chocolate.
Hey, chocolate.
Any evidence that we can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
Quick one. No.
No tire pressure without a tire. Oh,
Okay.
can of hairspray without the can. So simple. No can of whipped cream without the can.
Right, scientific evidence of gravity.
Scientific evidence of what?
No. Nothing here.
Can they first tell us what it is in their own mind before we try to tell them what the heck they're talking about when they don't even know what the heck they're talking about?
The evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth.
Not the magnetic one.
No, but there's one in the Tootsie Roll Pop if you want candy.
Molten iron core in the centre of a Tootsie Pop.
Yummy.
Well,
I
How
don't
did
think-
this even come about?
it's the closest thing they got.
I don't think a Tootsie Roll Pop will count as a molten iron core 10th man. I think that's stretching the imagination a bit too far.
I'm just trying to help them out a little bit. Come on.
In a kind of Spurs chemo kind of way.
Just don't go on for 7 weeks, please.
Well, that was a good comedy hour on that one.
Do you deny the evidence of the Tootsie Roll Pop? Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
There are be none here.
Well, if there was an R value, it would be a globe. And if it was a globe, it'd be spinning. And since Archie Micey can't prove it's spinning, there's no R value.
I got tired of that. I understand their arguments fully. I understand what they're asserting, and all they can do when it gets concisely demolished, as it so quickly does, is assert that I've paraphrased their claim incorrectly, or have misunderstood their claim. Like I don't understand what they're trying to prove with a ring laser gyro. Yeah, I do understand RC Meisty. I also understand what it's claiming to demonstrate, and that's Coriolis effect on Earth. Well, Coriolis effect would be necessitated to have two reference frames, one non-inertial spinning reference frame, claimed to be the ball Earth, and one inertial reference frame with a fixed gyro, not moving, not deviating, only demonstrating the claim of an Earth rotating underneath it. Well, if that's the case, then it rotates underneath. Simple. And you jump up and down and, oh my god, the Earth's rotated. No, that doesn't happen though, does it? Or you jump on a plane and get an hour and a half duration, and that doesn't happen either. People like George Netanyahu don't seem to understand this point either and will attack other people's career based on their misunderstandings of how it should apply to Earth. Coriolis effect is extremely simple. 2 reference frames, one spinning, one not spinning, analogous to a roundabout, demonstratable with you on it, spinning, and throwing a ball up and down. From your position on the spinning, non-inertial reference frames, it appears to curve away from you as it goes out of your hand up and down in a straight line, because you're rotating underneath. That's the apparent deviation, not actual force of Coriolis. The ball goes up and down, you see it curving away from you because you rotate away from it, but the ball in reality only goes up and down. It doesn't actually curve. Well, that is you rotating underneath. Well, if that ball is changed to a plane, and you are changed from being on a roundabout to a spinning ball Earth, then the plane leaves the non-inertial spinning reference frame, and the Earth rotates underneath. That's what Coriolis effect is. But these fundies like to use the actual toys, don't they? They like to use the ring laser and argue about the technology within it, and confuse you about what should be happening in Coriolis effect. 2 separate reference frames. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've never seen a plane fly backwards yet.
Yeah, we had one guy on it that was arguing for that, because that's what he'd be needing to have angular velocity applied when he leaves the non-inertial spinning reference frame. So he says, oh yeah, it takes off and then he's going backwards at whatever speed the Earth's going. 1,000 miles an hour on the equator. It's like, yeah, we undo that by saying, what happens if he takes a U-turn?
Yeah.
You-
Well, I do understand, so I'm just going to say it this way anyway. I don't understand why R.C. Meisty wouldn't agree with your short synopsis of what he was trying to say, when on his side you got an astrophysicist saying a field goal kick is doing exactly what you were saying, right?
Yeah, you've got Neil deGrasse Tyson that asserts that the ball is released and the goalposts physically move because the Earth rotates underneath, i.e. demonstrating that there's a Coriolis effect in play causing field goals to go in rather than not go in. And he tweets this out as a demonstration, according to him, of the Coriolis effect. The non-inertial reference frame of the spinning ball Earth rotating underneath the ball as it's thrown, and the goalposts moving underneath the ball that travels in a straight line, and from your position, attached to the non-inertial reference frame, the claimed to be spinning ball Earth, it would appear the ball takes a curved path. Now it really doesn't, it's just taking a straight path, but you're rotating underneath. And if you're rotating underneath as the ball travels through the air in a straight line, and the aeroplane above you travels in a straight line as the Earth also rotates underneath like it rotated underneath the ball, Neil deGrasse Tyson, oh no, that would cause considerably shortened durations of flights travelling west. Or you fighting Earth turn if travelling east. Or massive deviations if travelling north or south. But this doesn't happen ever, because there is no Earth-based Coriolis effect. You could demonstrate it by simply jumping up and down. On the equator, oh my god, 1,000 miles an hour spin underneath you when you leave the ground.
That was my problem when I was playing soccer. I didn't take Coriolis effect into account when I was kicking the ball.
Well, it's also, especially with now civilians being able to get drones and positioning the drone in one place in the sky. So it's free flying and holding its position. There's not turning underneath, just like the field goal posts aren't turning underneath for the ball. And yet they want to, like you said, argue it sometimes for it, but then they have to argue against it when put to task.
Yeah, exactly. A helicopter could take off in Charlotte, North Carolina, and not fly at all. And about, 6 hours later, you just have LA arrive. You just have to hover. What a complete crock of crap. Doesn't happen because it's not rotating. Earth does not spin. There's no demonstrations of separate spinning reference frames. You don't have that because there isn't any. We're not spinning. We're stationary. We're blatantly not moving.
And yet, in that same idea of something hovering and the Earth spinning underneath, if the Earth was spinning, they say the opposite. They say the Foucault pendulum attached to a building that's on the non-inertial reference plane is moving.
That doesn't matter either. That's where I cut off righteous force. It doesn't matter how they claim the parlor trick demonstrates 2 separate reference frames. The pendulum, regardless of how the apparatus is set up, and in explaining what it's claimed to prove, you undo the mechanism itself anyway. So you don't need to attack. That was what I did. My first ever debunking ages and ages, 4 years ago probably, of the pendulum was based on the operation of the mechanics of the pendulum itself. Same as people do with the ring laser gyro. Attack how it works, attacks what it is actually deviating for, or the cause of the deviate. Forget all that. It's not relevant. Oh, right, so the pendulum is demonstrating that the pendulum swings back and forth in a straight line. Back and forth, back and forth. Not left or right. Straight line, back and forth. But because the Earth rotates underneath, it knocks over those little dominoes. Because they're moving underneath and the pendulum moves in a straight line. That's the claim. So it's demonstrating 2 reference frames, you say. The Earth rotating underneath as the pendulum swings in a straight line, you say. Well, if the Earth rotates underneath as the pendulum spins in its inertial reference frame, not spins, swings, then it's demonstrating that you've got a non-inertial spinning reference frame and an inertial reference frame. Well, the planes would travel through the inertial reference frame, and the non-inertial reference frame would continue to turn underneath, shortening your flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA from 4 hours approximately to about an hour and a half, because the Earth rotates underneath, as demonstrated in the pendulum. Oh, what's that you say? They don't have shortened durations of flights. Well, then the pendulum's not demonstrating that the Earth rotates underneath, because it doesn't.
Nathan,
Yes.
did you remember to fix the Discord link?
Oh, the link. I thought. Sorry, I did. I thought you meant refresh the Discord server. So the public link's not working. Okay, I misheard you. My bad. I will do that now, though.
Time for coffee.
Well, I'm just saying it because it might get more ballers in.
I did think it was a bit quiet in there, and RC Micey's a regular who's already on the server, right?
He left.
Don't blame him.
I tried to get him back, but it didn't reply.
I don't want to beg him to come back. You know, I was more than happy to kick him out after the 5th time of him going around the same circle. Appreciate, you know, if I'm prepared to cause massive discourse between globe busters and myself personally, literally affecting the growth of this channel, then do you think I'm not going to be able to hold an argument with him about the same subject? If I'm challenging our own side on this, what do you think he hasn't got? Does he think I haven't got this sewn up? I assure you I have, RC. You're not going to get around me in any way, shape or form, especially not on Coriolis.
Slam dunk.
You mean RC Mr. Accelerating Coffee Cup?
Yeah, that's the guy. So yeah, the Earth doesn't turn. Ute did a little snap for Quantum Eraser. Did you see that? I know you did, Flatsoid.
Yeah, brilliant.
Turn out the lights. Party's over.
Oh, I didn't see that. Where's that?
On
Who did that?
Ute's channel.
Ute's channel?
Yeah.
I gotta check that.
I'd never heard that piece of music, but obviously I've even sung it along because it's so appropriate, right?
Someone put the link up in the Master V so I could go see it. That's going to be funny.
Hey, Owen.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Right, I've sorted I'm literally 10 seconds away from sorting the Discord link, so if you do want to join, just refresh your watch page and it should have a new link. I'll just check it's saved.
What? Where?
Discord link. Yeah, it will change it saved. Yeah, you can join if you refresh your page now.
For people on Discord.
For people on Discord, yeah. Unless you're part of the server, obviously just join anyway.
Yeah, it works now.
Lights, the party's over. They say that all
John's still
good things must end. I don't even know what key it should be in. But yeah, I don't know how things are going to pan out. I mean, maybe we can speculate for a bit. I tend to, if we're in the middle of a debate or discussion, shy away from speculation. But in terms of the realization that we've been lied to for the first part of it, and secondly that the Earth is obviously and observably flat. Now, for obviously all of us on this panel right now, because there aren't any globe heads, thanks to my incorrect link. Where do you think it'll go? Because I don't know, as the YouTube censorship in this regard, not recommending any of these videos to anybody, will that stifle other people finding out? Will it just be, has the dam already been burst and this is just now an inevitability? What are your opinions?
Well, you would have to consider history, and if something like this can be seen from another event, people splinter, at least from what I see, people splinter up into smaller groups and they can't kill it. They just get expanded, but in smaller groups, and more leadership is developed.
Yeah, you can only censorship the thing so much. I mean, we're still growing every day. I think it's just inevitable. It's going to come out to everybody eventually.
For example, if something like that happened and I couldn't get on the show in the mornings for whatever reason, if it ever got to that, that's not going to stop me from talking about it and realizing, hey, they're censoring us, so I'm going to continue to fight where I can. And then Flatzoid could do it where he is, and Righteous Force, and then Arwin. Everybody does it, whatever they can, wherever they can, because we're really honest about our position and very passionate about it. You can't kill it.
Yeah, you can't kill a lie. You can't kill the truth.
Go on, Righteous.
Oh, well, I guess my thoughts are the more they censor it, the more it would backfire if they go too fast. So if they go slow and they slowly like start censoring more and more, then like the less people will notice, I guess, until it's too late.
But they're getting called out on it, so people are noticing it as it's happening. So
yeah, but I don't know. Like when I talk to people on forums, they don't care. A lot of them just like asleep.
yeah, it's not for them though. It's the ones that haven't heard that won't hear because we're not on for them to hear. But then now, because think about it, if you're not here on this show today and you're passionate about flat Earth, you're doing your own Nathan Oakley channel in your own way, some way, at a coffee shop with a friend on the phone. You're doing something. You're not going to just sit here and give up on flat Earth because the powers to be shut your communications down via the Nathan Oakley channel.
Nothing to invest in. When you say give up on flat Earth, when I go about my daily business, aside from this show, which is essentially my daily business, but aside from that, I'm not, necessarily going to engage in the topic with just my general encounters with people, and on the whole, understanding that the Earth is as it presents itself, as opposed to the reification we're taught in school of a sphere model in a heliocentric system, Earth travelling around the sun, spinning, then, it doesn't necessarily make your world change because it hasn't. It always was flat. So what I'm saying is, let's rephrase it slightly. What happens to the heliocentric religion going forward? Does it just remain as the understood paradigm? Or will enough people find out that, well, no, that's just a religion and a reification of a model between now and 2050?
Well, how would they find out unless there's an opposing side challenging the current position? They got the media, they got the movies, they've got the history, and their parents had a globe. So you have to be challenged. And I see what you're saying, but I disagree, because if your show wasn't on, I would still go about my business. But I talk to everybody about flat Earth, from the electrical company guys, the tree trimmers that come. I talk to everybody. I don't care if they think I'm crazy. I start them thinking about it.
And it's not just flat Earth. It's like, I think I hear even teachers are like not liking what they're teaching all of a sudden nowadays because they know it's wrong.
Got someone new in the Discord server. Is it Face?
Phase.
He's got himself on server mute at the moment. He might be watching on the live stream. Feel free to pipe up.
Yeah, there's family members and people that I do not talk about flat Earth anymore to, because I addressed it initially and wanted to have a civil, decent conversation about it, but obviously the cognitive dissonance was too much for them to continue in it. So I either got mocked or thought, hey, this, don't bring that up when we're together. Even asked, not to. I said, fine. I mean, I'm not trying to force you to believe what your eyes tell you, but you're being lied to and you don't want to discuss it. And if the shoe was on the other foot, a good friend would turn around and say, wait a minute, you actually believe what? Now, okay, that goes against 99% of the world. So where's your proof? Because I care for you. I don't want you to go down this crazy road. Now, either you're a good friend and you're going to do that to me, or you just in so much cognitive dissonance that you don't want to talk about it. Which one is it? And I give him those two options.
Wait, how new are you to flat
Yeah,
Earth?
well,
Who?
Tat
Me?
Fan. Yeah, how new are you to this? Because you still seem passionate. Like when I was new to it, I wanted to talk about it to everybody. But nowadays, I'm testing more their like critical thinking skills first. Then
I came to Flat Earth. I remember it was Julian Assange posted pics of Antarctica. It was towards the last 3 months, September, probably maybe October of 2016.
Oh wow! And you still just start with flat Earth right away?
Well, I don't say flat Earth. I'll say, hey, how come the moon how's that moon in daylight doing that when they tell us this? And then they say, hey, you're right. And then I say, do you feel the Earth spinning? And they go,
I do the
no.
same thing.
Yeah, and then they go, no, I don't feel the Earth spinning. I go, so now they tell us the moon is supposed to be this, and with our own eyes, it's not that. Our senses are telling us the Earth is obviously and observably flat and motionless, right? He says, what do you mean flat? And I said, well, if you're at the ocean where there's no mountains or valleys, is it flat or is it curved? He said, no, it's flat. And I go, right, but they're telling us it's curved. He says, you're right. And I just go that way and see if there's even an interest.
yeah, well, you get some people that just don't really care what shape it is. I mean, take my wife, for instance, still trying to talk to her about it, but she doesn't really want to engage. She just says, what does it matter what shape it is, you know?
Yeah, there's some people like that. I had a tree trimmer working for the county come to trim the trees that are under the power lines. And he and I got into it when they had a lunch break, and he spent his own lunch break with me. After the lunch break, he says, let me introduce you to the crew. He took me to the crew, and he says, tell them what you told me. So I told them what I told him, so their lunch lasted a little longer. That's a good move on his part. And he gave me his email and phone numbers and send me everything you got and don't stop. And I've been texting and doing things for him. It's you work with the willing. You can't push a rope.
I used to think the same about my wife's attitude towards it, but occasionally she'll, without letting me know, she'll be earwigging the conversation that's going on and mention it afterwards. So the last time this happened was when Brenda was on, and she'll parrot her absurd position, Brenda's absurd position, and have a good laugh about it. And although at the time I don't want to force the issue, so I don't say you do realise by conceding her absurd position as absurd that you are essentially saying you know the Earth's flat. So, like I say, she's my wife. I don't want to pressure her into it. She's made her opinion in that regard clear every time I've asked her. But some of the conversations we have allude to me thinking, you know the score here. You know, you might not verbally say that, but you know.
I think exactly the same.
Yeah, my wife believes it's flat because she's heard enough and I've talked to her enough, but she's not into it like I am. She goes, I can't do it the way you do it. She goes, I already know it's flat. I'm done. It's not a ball. I don't need it anymore. I said, fine. So it's come as you will.
Cool. We've got a new guest in Discord. Is it OU? How you doing?
Nathan's Chris Berry.
Oh, hey Chris. Long time. I liked your thing you did with the mountains.
Chris Berry? Are you the guy who did the
Hello again.
music
Short
for
time.
Arwen's intro?
Yep.
So last
He was
thing I
on
saw
my
you,
show today.
Last thing I saw Chris do was the mountains. I think it was in your garage under a car, just a crude lighting setup. That was cool.
That was me. So I've taken a little bit of a step back from jumping on shows and debates. Just it was kind of consuming my life. I was on them like almost every day, going to Jose's a lot, and just sort of backed off. So I don't go. I'm only jumping on every couple of weeks now, when time allows. So I haven't posted a YouTube video in quite a while either. It's just trying to break a little bit away from it. Not that there's anything bad. Not that, you know, I wouldn't say that for everybody, but for me specifically, I just was doing too much with it, and just need a little bit of a break.
No, I totally get it.
Nathan, you did that, right? Like, was it earlier this year, like around January, February? There was about a month or two. I think your channel was frozen. You kind of took some time off, didn't you?
Did I heck? No, I engaged in suing the person who'd falsely claimed copyright on me, and struggled desperately to keep material out on those channels. I've mentioned this a couple of times, which is why I'm a bit less hesitant than perhaps I might have been, because of a recent spurt of success with the channel and with other Flat Earther channels. And suddenly you get people saying, oh, right, you're earning money. And you're like, oh, wow, how quickly people forget that, like, I've got 4 channels that were all based to be shut down over Christmas. So, you know, the path of a YouTuber is really, really tenuous, is that the right word? You know, fraught with difficulty and potential pitfalls and very limited chances of any success. So when you receive a little bit of success, you're like, that's all people tend to focus on, which kind of pisses me off, if I'm honest. But there we go, I shouldn't really air these grievances on a live show. But yes, indeed, over the Christmas period, yeah, I was in a position where, you know, I couldn't do what I was doing. And it wasn't that long after I decided to dedicate my time to doing this on a full-time basis. So, you know, again, at the time I hadn't mentioned that to anybody. Nobody was really appreciative of that fact. And I didn't harp on about it at the time because I didn't want to, like, seem like a low-life, scummy e-beggar. Now, I make light of the fact that when I say smash the super chat to support this channel, that is technically e-begging. It's absolutely e-begging by definition, in fact. But saying, oh no, isn't it, woe is me, I'm in a position where I might lose my channel. Now, while that could be seen as perfectly legitimate, I didn't want to do that. So I only want people to support me because they want to support the material they're watching. You know, not because I've got a bill to pay or because I'm suddenly experiencing some sort of legal difficulty with YouTube or any other particular reason. It's like, you don't care if ABC are in a battle with whoever legally. You just want to watch whatever show you watch on that TV channel, right? And you don't really care. It's just, do I enjoy the content or not? And it's like, that's the attitude I take as a producer here. It's like, no one's really that interested in me personally and my personal affairs. And if they are, that's probably because of some nefarious reason rather than them actually having some genuine concern. And the people who take it upon themselves to have those genuine concern are normally the kind of people who support me on Patreon, and, you know, they'll look at the little private videos that I put up and actually take some interest in those things. So there's a nice balance, but my point being that, yeah, typically people tend to ignore the bad stuff that happens and the difficulty and the strife and only focus on any perceived success that you may have. But there we go, that's my moan over. Thanks for bringing that up, Chris. Dark times.
Share your
Worries.
pain.
I just got tired of, you know, I'd go on Jose's, I would just completely obliterate almost everyone on there. And I'm not trying to say I was right about everything, but, you know, you can debate them and win pretty easily these days with all the arguments we've come up with over the last few years. And, you know, they would, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I said it on Arwen's this morning. I've said it on Jose's before, and that's the answers that I got from 3 years ago when I first found FE to now have, I say evolved, Arwen says has devolved. Either way you look at it, they've changed. Right. So when I first got into it, the answer to Coriolis was that the atmosphere moves with the Earth. Right. Okay. And now it's, you still sometimes get that, but then but now you sometimes get just completely different answers. Like, well, you don't have to worry about airplanes because airplanes are controlled flight. It's like, at what point did that become a part of it, a factor? Because that wasn't the answer when I first joined. And so it's like that with Coriolis. It's like that with the curvature. You know, we have ballers admitting we see too far, oh, but it's, you see, it's super looming. That's the answer, right? So we keep coming, when in my opinion, and I'm not saying they're right, but we keep coming to this quote unquote stalemate where we give a good question or claim, and they just say, oh, it's super looming, or it's a powered flight, and you don't have to worry about like Coriolis and those kind of. I mean, there's like half a dozen or a dozen of those examples I could give where 2-3 years ago the answer was one thing on the ball side, and now it's evolved, it's changed because it's had to have changed because it didn't make sense now, so they have to figure out how to tweak it just a little bit, tweak the truth, and make it seem more plausible.
Well, I don't see them claiming that there's only one reference frame as a stalemate. So when they say the Earth and atmosphere rotate as one, well, that would be a non-Coriolis situation. You don't have separate reference frames in that circumstance. So that's the end of that argument. That's definitely not a stalemate. Not in my opinion. Well, not in my opinion, not at all.
No, that's the end of the argument. If you don't have two reference frames, you have no Coriolis.
Yeah, as soon as they say the Earth travels with the atmosphere, oh right, no Coriolis then.
Well, not necessarily. It could be a matter of like degree. So, for example, like we could say that the Earth and the atmosphere like generally rotates together, but there are instances where the Earth rotation causes, like, it's not a inertial versus like 3,000 miles an hour reference frame.
Yeah, it is. That's what Coriolis is. Non-inertial and inertial reference frames. Clearly you need to go away and brush up on what Coriolis actually is, RC Meisty, because you clearly don't understand. To have Coriolis, you need a non-inertial and inertial reference frame. One spinning, one not spinning. So, for instance, when Chris said their argument would be that powered flight overcomes this. So, on my example, crude, simplistic example of Coriolis effect in action with a roundabout, where you throw a ball in the air. Let's say it's not a ball in your hand. Let's say it's a powered, remote-controlled drone, and you just push the up stick, and it just goes up from your hand. It will still appear to curve away from you, because you're rotating on a non-inertial reference frame. The fact that it's powered makes absolutely no difference to whether or not there's a perceived curving away from your hand, because you're rotating underneath that inertial reference frame now, does there? So Coriolis effect's nice and simple. You need two reference frames, one rotating underneath the other. That's what you need. Now, if you're saying there's certain circumstances where Earth doesn't have that, I find that laughable. Because if there's certain circumstances where it doesn't happen, then you'll interrupt me because this is the demolition of your point. Which is that, no, there aren't any exceptions. You've either got Coriolis effect and two separate reference frames, or you don't. In the case of Earth, you don't.
So if you have one reference frame rotating at, like, let's say, I don't know, 15 degrees per hour and another one at 14 degrees per hour, that 1 degree per hour difference will produce a Coriolis effect.
That sounds like two reference frames moving.
Excuse me?
Give us an example, please.
I just gave you one. So, like, let's say if I have a merry-go-round.
Use something like a ball or something so that's easier to understand, because I got lost in what you were. It didn't make any sense.
Okay, so if I have a merry-go-round, like we always like to use a merry-go-round for a Coriolis example, right? So if I have a merry-go-round going at 15 degrees per hour, like just say 15 degrees per second, so that it actually looks like it's moving, right? So you got to go on 15 degrees per second, and then I have another merry-go-round above it, right, going at 14 degrees per second, and I have somebody hanging upside down on the one up top.
Not what's claimed that Earth's doing. Who cares?
There's
This is a
going
false
to be
analogy.
hold up.
False analogy. That's not what Earth's claimed to be doing, as depicted by your claim of 15 degrees deviation demonstrated in the ring laser gyro in its fixed frame of the inertial reference frame. Simple.
What is simple, Nathan? Describe.
You're not claiming that you've got a spinning reference frame on top of another spinning reference frame. There's only
That's
one.
exactly what is claimed with the atmosphere.
Oh, right. So you claim... Let me get it straight. Give me a citation for a spinning atmosphere.
A spinning atmosphere?
Yeah, then
you really might want to go
depictions
brush
that
up
we
on
see show
Coriolis,
it.
because you really have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just making shit up.
I'm very aware of what I'm saying.
Very, very, what, clear in what you're saying?
No, you're not. Because you just put a rotating reference frame on top of another rotating reference frame. Like, what's wrong with you?
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? That's exactly what I'm saying.
You put a merry-go-round on top of a merry-go-round. That's like putting an earth on top of an earth.
I didn't say merry-go-round on top.
Doesn't matter. He's got one travelling at 15 and one travelling at 14 degrees an hour. So he's got two spinning reference frames, and he's claiming that there'll be a very slight deviation between the two. Even though earlier he came on the show and claimed there was a 15-degree deviation demonstratable in a ring laser gyro, which would assert that the Earth is rotating underneath at 15 degrees an hour. We've already gone over this. Your false analogy's not going to fly.
No, not underneath at 15 degrees an hour, that the Earth is rotating at 15 degrees an hour. See,
yeah, underneath the fixed frame of the gyro.
It's a snuck premise again. You really like these snuck premises, Nathan.
What? It's a claim of a 15-degree deviation because it's a non-inertial spinning reference frame travelling underneath the fixed frame of the gyro. It's simple.
No, it isn't. It is not. We're not claiming that it's non-inertial.
What are you talking about? That's what it's demonstrating. 15 degrees deviation. You attribute that to the spinning ball Earth. That's what you're claiming it proves.
You're claiming that.
I'm not claiming anything, Dick Brain. You're claiming that 15 degrees is Earth rotation, aren't you?
Yes, that 15.
Yeah, right. So I'm not claiming Jack. You're claiming it proves Earth rotates as a non-inertial reference frame, moron, at 15 degrees an hour. Not that we've got a roundabout on top of a roundabout, as exactly pointed out by 10th Man.
That's not what I said, though, Nathan.
Yeah, he did. He said we've got a 15-degree spinning rotating reference frame and a 14-degree spinning rotating reference frame. That's exactly what you said.
All I'm saying with that...
That's what you said. All you're saying is what I've just repeated and what 10th Man's called you out on. Now you're telling me about all you're saying. We've repeated it, we've summarised it, we've demolished it.
You haven't demolished anything, Nathan.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, if you've got a 15-degree deviation of the Earth rotating underneath the gyroscope, then it would also rotate underneath planes, or helicopters, or gyros, or balls, or you jumping up and down.
Fallacy. Nathan, you're trying to strawman my argument.
It just keeps accusing me of logical fallacies. What's a straw man?
Here we go.
Hold on. What's a straw man? What is a straw man fallacy?
He said re-straw man.
Let's first... hold on, no giggling. I want first you, RC, to describe what a straw man fallacy is, then in detail formulate what I have said into that as a fallacy. Go.
Sure. Strawman is when you take one argument, you take a particular part of that, and then you turn it into another argument. You've done that by saying the word underneath the gyroscope. You're taking that, using a snuck premise inside of my argument, and saying underneath, to then take a new argument and say, this is why I'm demolishing your first argument.
What would the
okay, is that the end? Hold on. Is that the end? That's how you claim I'm making a straw man. Do you claim the Earth rotates underneath the gyro? Yes or no?
That's not what I said. It does not rotate underneath.
So Earth it doesn't. Rotates. So let me get it straight. Earth does not rotate underneath.
No, Nathan. Listen to my words.
I've asked if it does rotate. You've said no. And now I'm asking if it does not rotate, and you're saying, listen to my words. These are simple yes or no questions.
It's me. Stop interrupting me.
No, I'll do what the hell I like. Does it rotate underneath? Yes or no?
Nathan, listen to my words.
I am listening to your words. You're just not answering my yes or no question. Either it does rotate underneath, according to you, or it does not.
No, Nathan, I know you're having a hard time with this.
Right, let's kick him out. Bye-bye.
Yep.
I'm not having a hard time with this. I'm asking you a simple question which I already know the answer to. The gyroscope, I will assert this as fact, and nobody will debunk this statement of fact, RC Meisty, because it is a statement of fact. The gyro is claimed to be a demonstration of Earth-based Coriolis effect. The Earth spinning underneath the gyro being the non-inertial spinning reference frame. That is a fact. You double speaking me, claiming I'm misrepresenting you again like you did last time, and trying to draw this out into a non-stop barrage of confusing bullshit that you spew isn't going to happen. I do understand what the gyro is claiming to demonstrate by Fundy Globeheads. It's claimed to be a demonstration of Coriolis. I will repeat it again. That being the non-inertial spinning reference frame of the claimed spinning ball Earth rotating under the gyroscope. And if it rotates underneath the gyroscope, as it is absolutely claimed to be doing at 15 degrees an hour, then it would also rotate underneath helicopters, aeroplanes, balls, bullets, anything that leaves the spinning non-inertial reference frames. These are facts, and nobody will debunk these statements are facts, as they are absolutely 100% accurate. I thank you.
Well said, and he admitted that the Earth was turning underneath the gyro several times, and then he.
Of course, that's his claim. That's what he's trying to prove. That's his claim. But when it comes to me pointing out that it doesn't, he says that's not what I'm claiming. I'm not claiming that it rotates underneath. It's like, what, you mean because I've just proved that it isn't? No, that is your claim. You're claiming Earth rotates at 15 degrees an hour, precisely what the gyro's claiming to show. Moron. But he thinks he can double-speak his way around it. This is all they do with Coriolis. Let it draw out into a confusing barrage of nonsense so no one understands the point at the end. The point being that if we have an Earth rotating underneath, which would be a demonstration of Coriolis effect on Earth, then planes would have shortened durations. Balls would spin away from you as you throw them into the air. All of the effects that Neil deGrasse Tyson claims, the balls seeming to curve, the goalposts are moving underneath, that's Coriolis. Now he wants to double speak around it, and I just won't let him. I'm tired of it. Assholes like George Netanyahu will attack people's career based on them challenging their double speak obfuscation. Because they don't understand Coriolis, they'll often describe it as a single reference frame. In this instance, he thinks he can get clever by describing two spinning reference frames, one at 15 and one at 14 degrees an hour, when we've got a very simple and concise explanation of what Coriolis effect actually is. A non-inertial spinning reference frame and an inertial reference frame. The ball spinning away from you, in your view, because it travels in a straight line and you rotate underneath. The rotating bit underneath, the bit he's now saying he's not claiming the gyro proves, even though that's absolutely what it's claimed to prove, is precisely the effect of Coriolis, the Earth rotating underneath. But he wants to deny it, because then he can lose the audience in doublespeak and not have them realise. Your plane travel would be shorter if the Earth was spinning. Helicopters would hover and continents would come to them if it was spinning, but we don't see those effects, and these fundies have a real trouble with that.
No, he's trying to mix it up, because if it rotates underneath a bullet, it's got to rotate underneath everything else. If it rotates underneath the ball, it's got to rotate under everything else. He can't get himself to admit that, so he convolutes it by the double speak. So he's claiming it, but he can't prove it.
The problem is their double speak only seems to confuse them. we follow all right what the hell they're trying to say, but they don't. This is why they can never win this argument.
I'm looking in chat. I'm looking in chat, and the guy named Delirium is saying we don't understand it. Well, get online here and explain it to us. I mean, you can't have it without a second reference frame. How would you even notice Coriolis with one reference frame?
Hey, Colin.
I'm pretty sure the Coriolis effect requires two reference frames.
It does. Non-inertial spinning reference frame and inertial reference frame that the bullet travels through, or the gyroscope spins in its own fixed reference without moving at all, or a ball released from a footballer's hand travels through, or a plane travels through, or a helicopter hovers in. Yeah, that would be leaving the non-inertial spinning reference frame and entering the inertial reference frame. That's what Coriolis is. And if you leave a non-inertial spinning reference frame in an aeroplane, it would continue to rotate underneath. That's what gives you the effect if you stay on it. So if you're on the non-inertial spinning reference frame and you throw a ball up and down, but you're spinning underneath it, well, then you spin away from it. It appears to curve away from your hand. Well, that apparent deviation is because you spin underneath. But the fundy on the panel a moment ago was like, I'm not claiming it spins underneath. Well, that's what it's claiming to be proving, my friend. That's what you're here to demonstrate, aren't you? Claiming that the gyro shows a 15-degree deviation underneath? You're not? Oh, right, that seems a bit weird. Yeah, you are. You just don't like it when we point out that if it's spinning underneath the gyro, then it's spinning underneath a plane and you if you jump up and down.
But this is the same guy, R.C. Meisty, who told Chocolate that the coffee cup was accelerating. Now, I've got a cup of coffee in front of me here, and it's just sitting here. How in the world could he look at a coffee cup and say it's accelerating at the same time, not explain Coriolis properly? They're the ones that got the brain, wires confused.
I just want to thank RC Micey for proving my point. Can I get off of saying or stop saying that the ballers obfuscate and they change their answers in the last couple of years? He gets on and I'll have to listen back because it was kind of funny and I don't remember exactly, but he basically started out by saying, well, sometimes that happens and sometimes that doesn't happen or something like that. You see, all they have to do is make it so confusing now. Like I can listen to Nathan or Tenth or Arwen or whoever on the flat side explain Coriolis, and it makes perfect sense. You have to have the bullet has to move above, the platform has to move below. That's Coriolis effect. But when they explain it, it's so complicated, it's so complex. Sometimes it's the atmosphere, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's a moving reference frame, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. And there's never a straight answer. There's never one answer that they go to. So thank you, RC Meisty, for proving the point.
NASA. Dude, did you hear the example that he was about to use? He had two merry-go-rounds. So what? Now you have two non-inertial spinning reference frames? How is that going to work out?
What's the acronym for that, Chris? Never a straight answer.
NAST.
NASA. NASA. Never a straight answer. Yeah. I'm just going to do a couple of quick shout outs. So there's a few people that have smashed the super chat while we were chatting away. I'm sorry I didn't shout you out sooner, MC Universe. I did see your super chat go by. The breakfast civilization has many layers of protection. The heliocentric model is just one of them. Thank you very much indeed for your super chat, MC Universe, sacred truth keeper. Really do appreciate your support. And also, just a moment ago, Leonardo Gonzalez. He says, Nathan, the show is doing awesome. You guys are crushing it. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate your support, Leonardo Gonzalez. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat.
Hey, Nate, do you mind if I plug something?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Something I usually don't do. The 24/7 Discord, Flat Earth Discord, this weekend went through a little bit of drama, and now there's a new server link. It's basically the server is pretty much starting from scratch, and there's a new link. It's pretty much a new server. So if you want, I can put the link for it in Skype, and if you can spam it in the chat for me, that would be cool.
Yeah, no worries. Stick it in now. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes, so I've got enough time to get that all sorted if you do it now.
All right, thank you.
Whose channel is that?
I think the YouTube channel is going to remain the same. So 24/7 Discord is also the name of the YouTube channel. So for people who watch it, they're not going to be at all affected. But there's a new Discord server. So from what Chocolate's just explained, they've had issues with their server.
FE-Core?
Won't affect viewers, will affect people who engage in the actual server. So if you are part of the 24/7 Discord server, which was massive, so yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who need to know this. So yes, please do pass on the link.
I'll give out the YouTube channel. It's called 247 Flat Earth Discord Live.
Okay, you sticking that in Master B?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Sure.
It's going in Master B. Is it the one that Chocolate's just linked?
Yeah,
I don't know. Let me check.
That's the one.
He's got the Discord channel, and I'll post the YouTube channel.
So I should have spammed both.
Because you can get the Discord link in the
paid.
YouTube channel too.
Okay, I'm doing Chocolates. Should I do yours as well?
Yeah, because I think the link expires, and you constantly got to check the Discord link in the YouTube channel.
I see. So if I put yours in my information box, that'll take the people who are watching this to that YouTube channel, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it will actually be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be better if you put the YouTube link in your info box, because the link that I gave you, I think it's one that it kind of expires after a day or so.
No, I get that. So yeah, for people watching live, to be honest, I don't know if you can even click on links after. You can still read them. But those people are the people who are watching live now that are most likely to be participating in the server itself. So they're the ones that have got your link, Chocolate. And then right now, as we speak, I'm sticking 24/7 live underneath the typical join link. So after this renders and in about 20 seconds, if you were to refresh the live stream, you'd get that link to that channel and you can go, if you're not already subscribed. So go and subscribe to 24/7 Discord, and if you are a participant, there is a new link to a new server right there. And obviously join Betty's. So obviously Science versus Pseudoscience. She'd probably be heartbroken if I didn't at least plug hers, which is the one that we use for this specific stream, and so do others, including Coffee Shop from Sleeping Warrior and a few others. So yeah, subscribe to both, but as it is a bit of a disaster for 24/7 Discord, go and subscribe to them. The link will be below. If you're a viewer, you can go and subscribe there. Thanks, Chocolate. Thanks, Righteous. You guys are well on the pulse.
No problem.
It's a lot of servers, a lot of channels, a lot of subscriptions.
They're actually well on the plane.
I love shouting these people out. It makes my day that you've done things like that. And I said to myself at least 6, maybe 8 months ago, I'm going to go to a concerted effort to make sure that the people we discuss, the videos we use, get links to those channels. And, you know, we're not being promoted externally. So we've got to promote internally. And there's, you know, if you go by someone like Jeranism's channel, 120,000 minimum people that could be spreading this information amongst those 120,000 people. But if they're not going to do it, we have to do it. And the only way we'll get new people in is the same. You have to share it. That's why I say it every show. Share on Facebook, share on Twitter.
New loyal followers, though.
Yeah, people aren't going to come across this information as a cursory part of their YouTube searching habits. That's just not going to happen anymore. It used to. Now it doesn't. Well, fair enough. That's just the way life is. But how do you overcome that if you don't want to stagnate? Well, you encourage your audience and you do as you say. In other words, I share everything I watch. If you look at my Facebook feed, it's just endless links, because that's pretty much all I use Facebook for. That's my purpose for using Facebook, and I don't care. I'm not ashamed of that. You know, I'm not interested in the engagement with it. I'll engage with my comments and Skype and various other things instead. But my purpose in doing shares and Discord promotions like this is to pass the information around to a greater audience.
You have a different platform, though, where you let people talk even if they disagree with you. The same can't be said for those other servers and stuff. Like, they're trying to create large-scale echo chambers where they could, you know, benefit from. It's for their own businesses. It has nothing to do with a discussion or anything like that. If you say anything that a mod disagrees with you on, you could just get banned. And then not only that, you might also be, you know, labeled as a troll for other people to follow suit and ban you as well. I've had it happen to me. I've had it happen to a couple of my friends. Like, you know, that's the only reason I wouldn't promote them. That's the only reason I come on here.
That might have something to do, though, with you actually acting like a troll.
No, you're the
But
biggest
that could
troll,
be
though.
me.
That's hilarious coming from you, Arwen, because like you are, and I see why you took offense to that, is because like you are one of those people, and you know yourself to be one of those people who, like, if anyone says something you don't like, you ban them, and that's cool. That's your prerogative, you know. It's your show.
Okay, if you want to watch the continuation of this conversation, you'll have to tune into the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, as this conversation will continue in the after show. However, if you're watching live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Massive thank you to all of today's live debating panel. As again, if you are watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
And the drama continues.
Well, let's put a twist on this. Let's go back to R.C. Meisty.
Oh, hold on. Sorry.
So it was kind of hilarious that Face would be complaining about being banned for being a troll.
Just 1 second. Thank you,
Yeah,
Face.
I'm not a troll
I'm
though.
glad
You're
you put.
a troll. Like you
Ugh.
could keep saying it. You could keep saying it. Like I
I'm a
rarely jump
troll?
on panels.
Oh, really? Where do I troll? You know
Every,
that I
every time you're
actually
online,
provide
like your
useful
whole fucking show is
information
a
in
troll
the
fest.
chats
Hold
wherever I
on,
go.
Arwen. You can't say to him a question that's as open as that. Where do I troll? And then talk over his every response. I'm not backing him, by the way, Arwen. I'm just letting the conversation.
No, that's fine.
I'm
I
not
wanted
backing-
to talk
Hold
a
on,
little
Face. I
with
just
you
want
too
to.
after
I just
this.
want to get control of Arwen.
Sure.
Don't take offence, but once I've done, hopefully the conversation will continue between you and Arwen without this turning into some horrible, vitriolic argument. But I'm not having a dig. I'm not agreeing with him, Arwen. I'm just saying that you can't ask him a question and then not let him respond.
That's fine. I wasn't completely done yet, but yeah. That's fine. So where do I troll, Face? You tell me.
Well, personally, I think your whole persona online is a troll. So I mean, if you want to, if you're asking for my opinion, that's what I think. Because I've seen people try with you, including myself. I've seen the dude Peanuts Clark right now, just like while I was saying that, like I've never heard a nicer guy in this whole flat Earth thing than Peanuts, right? Like he's just like one of the nicest people, and he says he didn't say anything offensive.
Yeah, he did.
Even say, I'm not defending him. That's just an example that happened in the last half an hour alone, right? So like, since you're asking for an example, I'll go ahead and give you that one. Like you kicked him off mid-sentence while he was bigging you up. Like the whole time before that, he was talking about, "Oh, Arwen, I think what you do is great," and you were kind of like being a dick the whole time.
No, I wasn't
cool too.
doing
That's
that
your
at all.
personality, whatever. But then you booted him. You put your middle finger up and you said, "Get the fuck up." You're never gonna be on my show ever again, or whatever. Like, I don't think anyone cares to be on your show. He wanted to have a talk with you more than anything.
Peanuts
you're
Clark
just rude,
has
dude.
been
And I
a
think part of it is
visitor
because of
and a
being a
panelist.
social recluse.
Yeah,
Like,
you're done now. You're done now. That's fine. Okay.
I'm not done.
So since you're bringing up
your show
something
again. This
that
is what
just
happens to you.
happened
It's
not
like you
even
start
an
thinking that
hour
you run
ago,
shit. You don't run shit.
right? I'm
You don't
gonna
run a
respond to
thing.
this
You
because I
run your
actually
show,
did have a
and you
chat
can
with
ban
him.
people as you wish over
Hold on,
there,
hold on.
But you can't ban
Face,
people
just one
everywhere
sec.
else. Like this is exactly what I was saying when you piped in. I was talking to Nathan, and I was talking to him about people on the flat Earth scene that like to control thought and discussions, and they think they could tell people when they're done and when they're not done, and that's all fine and dandy on your own fucking platform. But once you start going into other people's and you have this like false sense of like superiority, or that you run some shit because you have a YouTube channel, that's where I have to be like, no, fuck you. You know what I mean? We're not coming to you for you to tell me I'm done over here. No one was even talking to you. You jumped in and you attacked me. So who's trolling who?
Okay, I'll just let you ramble on for another half hour and shit all over the place. That's fine. If you don't care to actually get an
Dude, you
explanation.
ramble every day, Arwen. Do you not understand how you're projecting? Like, that's you. You're describing yourself. You do it on your own little shitty show. Then oh shit, I gotta go because now Nathan's on. And then you jump on Nathan's and you do the same thing. And then if somebody else is online, like you'll jump on and do the same thing. This is several hours a day. You can't tell me I'm the one who's rambling because you heard my voice for a whole 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Now, I just recognized you
no
through your
fucking point.
actual activity in chat, which is not contributing
But
to
that's
anything
everybody.
ever.
That's everybody. You had that chick last time. You guys were both calling me a troll. You banned her today, Trish, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was yesterday, and it was very
it's always
specific. And I
somebody
also had a
else's fault. That's what
discussion
I'm
about
saying.
that, and she's unrepentant about it.
Well, that's
the
the
core
thing.
issue that I did
What are
that
you like
for.
the church? The church? The people need to come and repent to you. Who the fuck are you, dude? Like if they disagree
No,
with
that's
you, that's
exactly
okay.
what she
People
did
are
to
gonna
me,
disagree.
asshole. That's exactly what she did to me. She's literally now
I don't care
shitting in
about her.
chat.
I'm just saying.
Arwen is not a
There's
Christian
countless
who is
examples.
going to
Like you have
hell
nothing on
because
me.
I don't believe it exactly the way she does. Okay, that's the shit I banned her for. Don't turn things around on me,
That's
dickhead.
fine. That's fine. But I'm saying there's something for everybody, right? There's a reason for just everybody to be fucking banned. So then at what point does it become no longer a discussion? No longer join my Discord server to discuss da-da-da. It's not a discussion. If you're banning people because you disagree with them, there will never be a discussion. Don't you get it? All you're creating is an echo chamber.
I don't ban people for disagreeing
that's
with
fine
me.
too.
I got all kinds of globers in my chat. People that I really respect. A lot of them. Okay? So this is a total gaslighting,
cool.
red herring shit case. You don't have anything. I got
red
lots
herring.
of
No,
globers.
I was talking about
I
Discord
got lots of
servers.
people.
You're the
I
one who
ban
just jumped in
people
with red
for their
herrings about yourself
behavior,
and about me.
not for their belief or agreeing with me or not. Okay? And if they behave very shitty, then I will ban them after warning them a couple of times. If they don't take the warning, I ban them. And then usually I am so good-hearted. Okay, it sounds kind of sucky to say that at a moment like this, but I'm so good-hearted that I eventually even unblock them within an hour.
That's because you'd have no
because
viewers
I
left,
feel
Arwen.
bad.
Let's be real. Like, you
To
block
keep
half
them
the
out of the
audience
way.
every
But
show.
I do need.
There's
I'm
40
not done
people
yet. I
watching.
still need to basically give off a signal that there's a consequence to people not having a little bit of social discipline for themselves and misbehaving in some way. I like to
Have
point
you
that
ever
out. That's
considered
very
your
important to me,
own...
how people behave. Okay? And I get
Yeah, okay, that's
passionate
cool.
about that. And sometimes I get a little too passionate about it, and then I feel embarrassed afterwards. That's true. Because I do have a bit of a rage streak sometimes, and it sucks that it comes out that way sometimes. But I'm just really passionate about these things. And it hurts me a lot when somebody says something incredibly stupid or just terrible and disappointing. That hurts me when I actually care about them. If I didn't care about them, if they're just some troll somewhere whining all day, I don't give a shit about what they say. I got like 20 sock accounts in chat right now with my face on them, shitting all over the place. You think I care about that? Nope. I only care when it's actually people I care about. Okay? And I had a talk with Peanuts Clerk afterwards who really didn't get what was happening. So I told him, look, what you said was incredibly ignorant. And then he said, I don't get it, a general approach. And then I told him, look, there's things happening in the background for a week. And I've discussed that on my show. And he said, oh, I've seen your show every day. Then you just don't have an excuse to say something that's stupid. So I'm not having him on my show anymore. I'm still going to, he's can still come in my
Yeah,
chat.
that's
He's
fine.
not
I don't think
banned
anyone
for
cares,
life.
including him.
But
But
he's
the
just
point
not
is
a
that
good
he had an
candidate for my
opinion,
panel.
and
That is
you
all.
even said it. You said
Please
it on
hold
the
on. Let me
stream.
add
You're
something.
like,
You guys are forgetting something.
someone-
Like, Arwen is like very active with his chat. So if he's very active with his chat, you know, he doesn't want it to be too toxic to him, you know, because he has to participate in it.
Yes,
So
indeed. That's right. I fish a lot of questions out of my chat. I really like interacting. That's why I like
you're also rude and
collecting
shit,
smart
though.
people,
Like,
whether they're
last time I
globers or
asked,
flat earthers, so I can have a good discussion and answer good questions and all that. I love that stuff. That's what I'm doing it for.
it's like Nathan Oakley when he watches on his second channel. He says doesn't like it to be too toxic, so he actually bans on that channel because he participates in it.
what channel is that, by the way? Is this on right now? Like,
This is the after show.
how do I find that on YouTube?
It's not. It premieres later on.
So that's what's recording now.
Oh, okay.
So on my second channel, Nathan Oakley, typically I'll watch the show. I do enjoy watching the show, and I'll be in the chat. But for that reason, when there's just pure vitriol, there's absolutely zero chance of them joining the show, unlike the one that's just gone out on Nathan Oakley 1980. So I typically don't want anyone banned on that stream. I don't want any excuse from anybody to say, I can't join because... Well, no, that's never going to be the case. That's why I don't ban people. But on the second show, well, they're not typically going to be joining. I occasionally run a live show on there, but not often. Most of them are on the main channel for obvious reasons. So I tend to just unconstructive people just get banned. Well, not even banned, timed out. Occasionally, very, very rarely, I'll ban somebody. But no offence, Arwen, you and Ranty will end up arguing about that the most. Arwen will ban somebody from that channel because he's a mod there, and Ranty will unban them and say Nathan doesn't want people banned, or whatever he says. I don't actually know that's the case that he says that, although I have said I'd prefer people weren't banned, just time them out.
You know that like 5 minutes before that happened, he banned P. Mars, right?
PBR was talking about people being dead people, specifically. I'm not even going to mention what he was talking about, but you'll probably know.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to. Okay, but still, the other guy was literally descriptively threatening me with physical violence on location. So anyway, that
you're not going to like what I'm going to say next, Darwin, but you just have to swallow it, I'm afraid. I actually agree with Ranty banning somebody for talking disrespectfully about a real person who's taken their own life over somebody just threatening you. I'm sorry. I know that probably stings, but I'm sorry if that's the case.
That's fine. It's just gonna mean I'm not gonna do anything in that chat anymore. Just because I can't use a wrench if I can't do anything.
You can.
Nope.
You can ban people
No.
if you want to. I don't unban people, right? Your issues with Ranty aren't my issue, right? I've suggested
Well, my issue is if as long as he's going to
let me
be in
finish,
chat,
just
I'm
let me
not going to
finish.
do anything.
I just want to make my
Because
position clear.
he's constantly poking at the end.
Just let me make my position clear. I trust you and Ranty to do a good job of moderating, and I don't undo anything you do when you ban people. I hope you appreciate that's the case. While Ranty has the facility to undo what you do as a mod, that doesn't change the fact that I trust both of you equally in terms of your moderating skills. And it's, to be perfectly honest, not that of a bigger deal, because I know most of the people in that chat are more dedicated to the show. It's a much more limited, focused audience. The viewing numbers absolutely demonstrate that. People watch longer. They're more keen viewers, and they don't want to see the crap either. So 99 times out of 100, both of your bans are going to be absolutely justified. So who cares? But the fact that you and Ranty argue amongst yourselves about it, I just roll my eyes, if I'm honest.
And they're not going to be justified, Nathan. That's the thing, is like you just said it. Like, if they're so active on the scene, right, where they're getting into arguments and fucking they know everybody's opinion on everything, then it becomes a personality issue, and they start banning people who they dislike because of something they said in the past, an opinion that they still might hold. You know what I mean? And that's what that's the whole reason I brought this shit up when you guys were talking about the Discord servers, is because there appears to be a network of people who are seeking to have like full control over the YouTube and like the internet aspect of this fucking flat earth conversation. Right? It's been around too long, but at this point it's too obvious. Like it's becoming more and more controlled, and like your opinions and even the comments that you make, almost it's like they have to fall within a certain, there's like guidelines for what you're allowed to say and not allowed to say, and who you're allowed to question and who you're not allowed to question. I'm going to tell you guys from personal experience that I've been banned preemptively in some of these major flat earth channels because the mods there know me from other places, or because they've banned me in someone else's YouTube chat, that now I'm banned in places where I didn't get banned from live. You know what I mean? I'm banned in Globebusters, I'm banned in Jeranisms, I'm banned in Dells. Like, I've never even typed in the Dell chat, I don't think, like, other than hello or something. You know what I mean? But it's curious to me how my accounts, how my only account, banned everywhere.
If you
And
choose,
there was once,
I believe you can come into the 24/7 Discord because they're starting new. Okay. So
well, that's
all
what
the
they say,
bans
right? But
that
that's what they would
were
say when there would be a lot of complaints about like Karen B and her wrench ways. Like she won an award from that
there's
organization
two
for being the
different
best
servers
flat
we're
Earth
talking about.
moderator. I think that carries some weight with it. That it means like, oh yeah, ban everybody on site and ban everybody who disagrees with anything that we might put out.
Well,
If anyone has any kind of criticism,
well, that's not the policy now. I happen to
what's
be a
up?
moderator over there now, and that's not how they're doing it. They're not banning on site. So if you want, because of all the drama
Oh,
that
that's good.
popped off, shit is starting over. So if you want to come into the Discord server, you can do that and try to start new. You don't have
Hold
to
on.
talk about shit, because that's not where we're at right now. You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at right now. Because
So,
if I were to say something again that somebody didn't like and then I got banned, it's going to
well,
be one
that's
of two
fine.
things,
I'm
right?
just
Because
letting you know.
as far
You
as the
can come
community
in.
goes,
You're
you
not
might have
banned
someone
as
like
of right
Arwin who
now.
pipes up and
I
goes,
don't
"This guy is a
believe.
notorious troll." That's what he called me on his last stream. Like, I'm not a notorious troll. Like, maybe in your life I am, but I'm not, dude. I have a life. I got
I
things that I got to
personally
take
have
care of.
no idea who
I
you
paid
are.
some attention to you.
You're trolling
James,
now.
and
You're
every
going on
time
and on
I
about
see
this. Can
you,
we change subject?
it usually takes
Yeah,
just
and I will
one
go
or
on and
two
on about this.
sentences before
It's
you
a serious
literally
thing.
start
Like,
to
if
troll people. You
if
can't
it's
help it.
supposed to be a community and not a fake fucking echo chamber to promote somebody's business, then that's
Nathan
how it
doesn't
would
like
go.
Listen,
right?
bro. I don't
You're a troll
personally
and you
know who
literally don't
you
know
are.
when to shut
Arwen,
up.
give me a second.
You're
Give me a
non-stop
second.
talking.
No,
Arwen,
that's
give
you
me a
again,
second,
Arwen. Now
please.
I have a point to make, so I'm making it, and then I'll mute
I didn't
myself. Like,
mean
no
you,
problem.
Chocolate.
Oh. All right, go ahead. Who's the guy I'm talking? What's his name? What's your name?
Phase.
FaZe. All right, FaZe. I don't know you personally. I don't know anything about you. I think I've maybe heard you on here before once or twice. I'm not too sure. What I'll tell you now is, because I don't know you and I don't have history with you, I don't have any problem with you showing up to the 24/7 Discord and doing what you got to do. All right. There are plenty of people who were banned before who are coming in now again because it's a whole new thing now, right? So you can attempt to do so. You're not banned. So, and as far as the policies of just automatically kicking people out, we're trying not to do that. All right. And me, I'm
That's
not going
cool.
to do that. I have
Okay, I'm
no
That's
gonna.
I
cool.
have no
Yeah,
wish to ban
I just brought it
people.
up because that's
All
my
right.
experience, and it seemed to have offended a couple
All right.
people in here.
All
So
right.
I mean, make of
I
that what
get
you
you. I
will.
get you. You have a
Like it
you
could
have
be
a
because I'm
history.
just lying.
You have a history, and I appreciate that. What I'm telling you
That's all
from
good.
now is you can start anew. Okay, that's all. That's the only message I'm trying to throw out there for you. All right.
I'm gonna do a little plug.
I have a
If you guys have
question.
like ban issues, come here to Betty's channel. The water's fine here.
But I have a question, and it's a little bit of a subject change, but sort of still
Shout
on
out
this
to
topic,
Betty.
I guess.
You can, Chris, but I just want to reiterate what was it? Chocolate? Yes. Science versus pseudoscience. That would be Betty's Discord server. There's in the show that's just gone by, the live one. I just put the link in, but I'm not connected to that channel now, so I can't put the link in. But I may do if I'm watching, which I probably will be for both of those servers. So one is called 24/7 Discord. The other is called Science versus Pseudoscience. I'm glad there's it's not just all sweetness and roses come over to these Discords, because that's what Discord's like. It's a bit poisonous, I'm not gonna lie. For that reason, I only engage with it when I'm doing these shows. So there's 25 people, something like that, in the after show part of this show now. Once I finish the show, if you're familiar, you'll know I'll just disconnect. That's it. I don't then engage with it because I find it a bit toxic. Now, that's not to say I don't like Betty's Discord server, and am eternally grateful for her use of it, because she's very gracious and just lets me use her server, and I don't have to deal with any of that, which I'm very, very grateful for. But no, I want to hear both sides of it. So as much as you're saying, Face he is a troll, this is trolling, well, no, he's airing his grievances about a community that he gets involved with and sees fault in, and when he expresses that, he gets banned. I've seen it happen to him. So as much as I don't like disagreeing with the regulars on the panel, Chris, you're one of them, you're one of my favourites, but by the same token, I do see it from Face's point of view, and in some ways I've experienced that myself. So what am I going to do, stop him from saying it when I in many ways agree with him?
Well, I in no way am
I
trying to
just
stop
meant
him
he
from
was
saying
he
anything.
was
I,
making the same point
again,
for
can
10 minutes.
appreciate that he has a history. All I'm saying is from this point moving forward, if he chose to come to that server, he could do so, and we could try to start something else. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to dwell on the past because I don't do that. Copy that, Phase? And if you want, come search me out personally if you want that. I don't care. That's cool.
No,
Cool.
I'm good, dude. I realize that there's normal people out here too, but there's just some behavior that I don't understand. Like this other guy talked about, I took 10 minutes to make my point. Like, if you've tuned into any of, are you new? Because like if you've tuned into any of this, you've heard people talk for fucking months. Sorry for cussing, but you've heard people talk for months about. I mean, come on. If you listen to Brenda, then you should have no problem listening to anybody make a point, even if it takes a whole 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that, you can't be real with that stuff. Like the whole point I was trying to make was very specific, and it seems to be coming by like orders of what you would call like community leaders, right? The people who put themselves up front, who produce a lot of content, the people who actually shame other people who are interested in the topic and say stuff like, "Oh, you don't have enough subs to have an opinion." And I was like, well, I've got that from Ranty. I've gotten that from Bob from Glowbusters. I've got a bunch of people have told me that in chats, trying to make other people notice. And I was like, well, my
Shout out
thing
retracted.
isn't to be on YouTube. Like, I'm not a content creator.
Oh,
I have a job. I have
hang on a
things that
second,
I gotta
Face.
do.
Sorry,
So I can't,
that could be a problem. How many subs do you have?
I don't know, like 100, 200.
Oh,
like it's nothing.
I think we should all just disregard everything he's just said. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that means
no,
he
That's
doesn't have an
it's a
ridiculous.
opinion.
real
Nobody
thing, though.
listened to me the first half.
Yeah, no, hey, mute him, ban him.
Get out.
Yeah,
150 subs. What the hell are you doing here? Get out.
Actually, yeah, I've had people say that, and I see it time and time again where they're like, "Oh, you don't have enough subs to talk to me," and it's like, okay, well, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to whoever might be listening, who's in the same position I am, who doesn't who isn't necessarily out trying to gather subs, right? But we happen to have YouTube accounts because that's how we use YouTube. Like, it's very basic. I thought that's how it went everywhere, right?
Phase. Listen, man, I appreciate what you're saying. My point is you're complaining a lot. I don't hear a lot of action. I have 250 subs. I've been on Non Sequitur 3 times. Okay, they didn't care how many subs I brought to the table. I just did my thing. I went on there. I debated Fight the Flat Earth. I debated Godless Engineer, Kyle, like 2 to 1, 3 to 1. You get my point,
Chris
man. Like, you're
actually
just
has
going
a
on and
point.
on about, like, you're dramatizing something that's really stupid.
No, I'm not dramatizing.
You
You
just need
keep
to get
telling
out
me
there
that
and
I'm
do
drama.
something.
This is no, I don't need to get out there and do anything. Like, that's my point. Is like, I
You're just
don't need to.
complaining, and people are gonna find that annoying.
That's cool. You might find that annoying, but there's other people who know what I'm talking about, and like, I'm just making a point right now. The fact that you're taking offense to it because I don't do enough, like, that's another talking point that they bring up. It's like, what have you done?
I think the market for
original idea have you
complainy
brought
pants
to
complaining
Flat Earth?
about
And a
being
lot of
banned
times,
while
shut the
not
fuck up.
bringing
I'm
up
talking.
actual
Don't do that. I
subjects.
don't can't hear you.
I think there's not a market for that, Phase.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Hold up.
Yeah, because you're over talking him. Now let's go back to Chris. Chris, how many subs you have?
Like 250.
Is that it? Get out.
Hey,
Get out.
Get out.
What are you doing here?
You're always welcome.
Okay.
It's my pleasure.
I guess you guys need to kick me out. I only got 4, so I guess I need to go. Sorry.
Right, this is an absolute bloody outrage. Why has no one ever told me about this lack of subs from all of these people on the panel? All of you, get out.
All of you, get out.
Please subscribe to Dawn Hub.
Hey,
That
to
was
swing
good,
it back to the new 24/7 server and Betty's server, there are terms of agreement being settled right now. So just want to let you know they're going to be kind of sort of sister channels. Okay? So subscribe, join those servers. Thanks.
Oh, that's interesting news. So 24/7 Discord and Science versus Pseudoscience. Isn't that a weird coincidence that they're being shouted out like one and the same, and there's a bit of even confusion about what should be posted as links, and then straight afterwards you say, oh well, actually they're going to become sister channels or sister servers.
Yeah, kind of sort of sister channels. It's a handshake agreement between the two for now. So go ahead and join those 2 servers, man. It's going to get good. Thanks.
Cool. That's cool. I like that. Should be a bit more unity and a bit more back scratching, because it's, what is it? Pay it forward, basically. Do unto others and all that kind of jazz. If you can shout out next man, there's a good chance that someone down the road might shout you out. If you're not shouting out anybody, why would you ever expect anybody to do the same for you?
Very true.
I have a topic, Chocolate. Maybe this is towards you since you're a mod over there. Maybe not. I mean, it's for everybody. But so when I first joined, or let me start over. At the top of the new Discord, it says this is not the Flat Earth Society. They are controlled opposition. So when I first joined FE, I never looked into Flat Earth Society because everyone told me that, and it's all I heard, and I didn't do my own research and investigation. So what happened was this and everyone heard the thing about them saying, oh, well, gravity is the Earth moving up at 9.8 meters per second squared. So everyone hears that and says that's retarded, and then they don't check out the rest of the content. But what I did is I went and finally, at some point, I checked out the rest of the content. And I have to be honest, I was really surprised because they actually have a lot of good content and material and references. I've used their material and references to debunk ball theories and claims. So I would just put that out there. That's just my opinion.
Okay, let me know when you're done, because
I don't think that the shill.
Is that the end of it, Chris? Because I want to add something to that. I'm really sorry to interrupt.
Go for it.
Okay, so let's say, for the sake of argument, let's make something really overt. Let's say that I say my truth will lead you to a happy life, when in reality I'm looking to scam you out of money. Now, would it be sensible that every word I say as a what's the type of con artist, a confidence trickster, would it make sense if everything I said was total nonsense or complete lies that, if looked into, were found to be overtly untrue? Or would it make more sense if about 95% of what I said was true, but the 5% that I said was nonsense was easy for all sides to hold up, put a torch on and go, look, this is complete nonsense, and they hold to this as rigorously as the truth which we say is lies? Which would make more sense?
The latter,
I
absolutely.
guess the second one.
My point being that I think it might have even been Tiger Dan that said this when I know it's a fairly common phrase, but it was the first time I'd heard it coined. Chew the meat and spit out the bones. There's a good chance that a lot of what Alex Jones says is highly accurate. Yeah? Amongst his shilling for all his dick pills and all the rest of the stuff he sells. But the point is that he's got to have a certain degree of truth for any credibility to be assigned to him whatsoever. And if people assign 100% credibility to people like that, including Flat Earth Society, then it's going to be undone by the bits that aren't true. So chew the meat, spit out the bones. There's going to be a lot in there that's true that makes you widen your eyes because they wouldn't get away with injecting the nonsense that aligns with the gravity narrative, for example. 9.8 meters per second of a flat Earth disk spinning through space, the bit they absolutely need to keep in their rhetoric. So the Flat Earth Disk Society pancake Earth flies up through a space. What the fuck? That's part of their rhetoric that they'll stick to like glue. They won't relinquish that. Bloody Dell's punting it at the moment. Interesting. Anyway, that aside, yeah, some of the stuff in there is perfectly legit though.
You're not far off positing crazy theories like that, Nathan, yourself.
That Dawn. Hey, Dawn.
I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
Corwin, have you been there?
But also because if you actually start to look at what it says, it means accelerating. Doesn't mean moving. It means it is constantly speeding up forever. Now try to see some kind of sense in that. That just breaks your mind if you even try.
But that's how it overcomes gravity, but it doesn't overcome gravity.
Hold on. In that sentence that Arwen's just said, is the whole alignment of the controlled narrative opposition. So you focus on one thing that's completely absurd. It's not actually that. The thing that they focus on from the Flat Earth Society is water spilling over the edge of the disk. Reaching the edge of the flat Earth is the main crux of the controlled operative narrative that the Flat Earth Society puts out there, because they laugh at it. They even laugh at it themselves when they put it out there. So that's the bit that they actually mainly focus on from the Flat Earth Society, not the necessary bit of space, being kept in their narrative of a disc flying.
I agree with them on that. You should go to the edge. I agree with them on that.
Because it works on people like Dawn who adapt that as part of flat Earth. So when we say the Earth is obviously and observably flat, someone like Dawn, who's easily tricked, will just parrot off part of the Flat Earth Society narrative and attack that. That would be a straw man argument.
Straw man.
Yes. It's going to get rumpused, of course. Right. Straw man argument. But used by injection via the controlled operative narrative. So he says, well, you should find the edge. What edge? Well, the edge that the Flat Earth Society have told me that you Flat Earthers have got in your story.
The edge of the puddle that you're positing, Nathan. The edge of your puddle.
What puddle?
The south.
So sorry, we've got puddle now, have we? You see, this is just straw man after straw man.
Based.
Straw man after
flat
straw
water
man.
Flat water in a container, puddle. Yeah.
But that's all disk centric. There is no
flat water
perfect confirmation
in a container on a flat surface is a puddle. Yeah.
That's nice. What's that got to do with anything I say here?
Right.
It's another straw man that you've just created. You've just created a narrative that I don't punt, and now you're going to attack that narrative. That is the definition. He rumpusses me. So rumpusses the point, which he's just created a narrative that I don't argue, and now he's about to attack it like the edge. Same principle. It's just a straw man used by the masses who have done a cursory search with the first Google search, which brings them Flat Earth Society and some nonsense for them to attack, ultimately leaving them in the impression that the other 95%, which is actually true, is also nonsense. That's the whole point.
Well, you lie as well as Flat Earth Society. So.
Here we go. Now it's time for ad hominem, another fallacy. So this is another fallacy. The fallacy of ad hominem. At the man. So he's not attacking my argument about the 95% true, 5% false part of a controlled op narrative that is the controlled opposition Flat Earth Society narrative, which we don't agree with because they have nonsense like edges. Nothing we've verified. Because they have nonsense like a spinning pancake going up through space, which is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics at 9.8 meters per second. Pretty much the same as the force they're going to apply to a gravity with a downward force of the same value. So this is nonsense.
You're in a contained puddle, but there's no
It
edge.
sounds like it's gaslighting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Isn't it, Nathan?
He's now going to tell me what we're
Contain-
in, like I've asserted it.
Contained
Another
wa-
straw man. He's
contained
just
water in a
verbal diarrhea straw man. He keeps asserting positions that I don't actually argue so that he can get me to concede them before I say, no, I don't take that position. He rumpuses me and continues to attack it, burning the straw man.
Nathan, I observe you for years. I remember your arguments. So even when you try and worm out of them, I remember them.
Put it
And
in
I can
quotes.
remind you that you're
Give me a
lying.
quote. Put it in quotation marks. Put my name after it. And just like Right the Hand did the other day when he did the same. I don't even give him my conditions yet. My conditions being just basic knowledge of how to quote somebody. Start by saying quote, end by saying end quote, and make sure the words that are in between are exactly the words I said.
Okay, give me a chance then. I'm now going to do it for you. Okay?
Okay?
Quotes open. Absolutely nothing is going down. Quotes closed.
What's the context of the quote?
This is one of your fantastical lies.
All right, if I was describing a helium balloon in the previous sentence, that would be fairly accurate. So we need some context, Dawn. That's
in
called
general.
Oh, do I have to? Are we going to get to the point where you give a full context?
You know how I
around it?
know? Because I questioned you over it for half an hour.
He's not going to give us a full context. He's giving us a quote mine quote, which could be in relation to a helium balloon going up for all I know, which would be absolutely accurate when I say nothing's going down. But he hasn't attached any context to his quote. None.
The context was you were denying stuff goes down. That's the context.
Yeah, but at the current moment, nothing was going down.
Well, let's pick up where that contextually leads. So a helium balloon, Dawn.
I gave you plenty of examples. If your daughter,
I'm giving you one right now that undoes this argument, and you've just ignored it immediately.
No, it
What a
doesn't.
shock!
You get one thing that's trying to go up does not debunk stuff goes down.
All stuff goes
doesn't.
down.
No, stuff goes down sometimes.
Yeah,
Quite a
that's
lot.
true. Sometimes, yeah.
Daily,
Normally when people
24
pick it up.
7 occurrence.
So what's the point of this? What
observation,
does this prove or
phenomenon.
disprove? What does your quote achieve?
The point is, you lie when you say nothing is going down. Absolutely nothing. That's a lie.
Oh, that's not been contextualized fully. I've just given how you could contextualize it with something that's not going down, and you're saying that you've got a quote, absolutely nothing is going down.
Yeah, it's a lie. That's
Where's
a lie
that
like
quote
that.
from?
That's a
What's the
lie.
timestamp? I bet £1 that is not verbatim. Do you know what that means, verbatim?
I edited a video and
Just
made
asking
a
a
comedy
question.
video out of it, dude.
Asking a
and
question.
put
Is that
Twin
a-
Towers falling down behind
Dawn.
you saying
Dawn.
nothing is going down? I know what you said.
So that's a verbatim quote.
Yes, absolutely nothing is going down. There's more quotes as well that make it even worse, but I've only given
Yeah,
you one
but
for
you're
today.
not explaining the context, Don, because I was there. I remember
Well, the
this hangout.
context is
I understand the
Nathan was
context.
denying that stuff
So
ever goes
that's
down.
the problem.
Hold on, Dawn. Let's hear someone else other than you or I, the person being quoted and the person who's contextualizing it for us. Let's hear what Chocolate's got from his memory.
Yeah, I remember that hangout. He was explaining to you that he was looking out at his window and looking into his house and saying that absolutely nothing was going down when you say things go down. And he said, on top of that, there's something going up, which is the helium balloon that he had in his house. He even got up and went and go rustled it for you on the mic. So
Does
yeah,
he mean
at the time
right
when he
now in
said
his
that,
real
absolutely
opinion, or
nothing
does
was
he
going down. So
Oh,
how
I
is that a
see.
lie?
I see the context. So the context was me saying I look outside of my window and absolutely nothing is going down. That would be the context then, the bit where I look out my window.
What you meant by your
Exactly.
statement.
Exactly.
So what's your quote mine quote achieving? Quote mining.
I asked you, do you mean in your field of vision right now, or do you mean ever? And you continue to double down on the point that nothing goes down. Even when I gave you examples of an egg on your window, a room falling
Did
over,
he
you
say
running the
ever?
tap,
Did
you
I say?
popping the balloon.
And did I say? And do
gave
you have
you
a
many
quote where I
examples-
said nothing goes
gave
down
you many
ever?
examples, and
Sorry,
you
your
just,
example is that to imply that I made out that nothing ever goes down ever. That's what you've just added with your contextualization, not in quotes.
what you're inferring. That's what you're inferring.
Inferring. Oh, you've decided that I'm inferring nothing ever goes down ever. Oh, that would be wrong, Dawn. Your inference is incorrect. You should have just asked me, or maybe clarified. It sounds like you did, but you didn't give the answer when I was asked to clarify if I meant nothing ever goes down ever, which
We're
is
now
absurd.
talking about the
Obviously, I'd never take that position, but it seems you're taking me out of context. It seems that when I point out to the audience how you're taking me out of context, you rumpus the living crap out of me.
Let's try it again now then. Does stuff go down quite a lot of the time? Every day, all day?
Go down, go boom, boom.
I'm looking out my window right now, and the answer's no. Nothing seems to be going down at all, and I'm being interrupted before I even get to answer, it seems. I wonder how you're going to put this in quotes with your shit all over the top of it. See, I'm looking out of my window. I'll try again for a second time. You're going to struggle to get this in quotes, my friend, if you talk through every word I say.
You've doubled down on the lie.
You've said that, and you're going to struggle to get my response to the exact same question in quotes if you talk through every single word I say. So I'm trying to answer you for a third time, Dawn. If I have to try for a fourth time, I'll just remove you from the conversation, because me giving context to the words I've said obviously isn't allowed without interruption from you. So to answer your question, I look out my window and am looking now, present tense, out of my window, and literally nothing's going down. Just bear with me 1 second. Paula, can you grab that PJ Masks helium balloon for me? I'll just make a quick note of something that might be doing something other than going down, Dawn, if you just give me a couple of minutes.
Am I still on mic? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Dawn. We hear you rumpusing me constantly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to leave. You doubled down on your lie. You're a lying silly...
What? Even though it was given you contextually by Chocolate, who jogged my memory about me explaining that I look out my window and nothing's going down. In fact, there's something in the room trying to get up. A helium balloon in that example.
He's gone.
Fair enough. It lies about what I say, misrepresents what I say, takes a quote out of context, then accuses me of lying when I point out that he's misrepresented me, and it's been contextualised by someone else who's not biased and remembers the actual context, that I look outside my window and nothing's going down. But apparently we always need to worry about this downward force that is apparently always in effect.
Is that a troll or what?
Say again?
Is that a troll or is it not a troll, Dawn?
Just a liar. He projects what he does onto other people.
Yeah, which makes him a troll in the context of this conversation. Like, that's the thing, is Don actually is a moderator on some of those channels. Like, he's not even a flat earther. But this is my point earlier. I know it's going to bother some people. Sorry. But yeah, Don has, he's a moderator because he's buddy-buddy with Karen B. So an actual troll, you get it? It has nothing to do with what you choose to talk about or the points you bring up. It's just like this weird buddy system, kind of like high school personality stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what we actually talk about. If you lie and call other people liars, you could still be a moderator for some of the biggest flat earth channels. I think that's crazy. Just because it's been so long, you know? Like, we've been... Like, I've known a couple of you guys. I've been listening to a couple of you guys for years at this point. And, like, we're still at this very, like, elementary level of, like, gatekeeping almost. You know, like, it's cool. If there's people who just distract and make every show shitty, get rid of them, absolutely. You know, if they don't help the conversation get anywhere. But, like, for people who are actually interested, like, the last time I jumped in was to say that flat wasn't a shape, and that turned into a 3-hour argument because Brenda was on Arwen's panel the night before fighting him about it. And then no one called them out. You get it? That's where I jump into a conversation. Like, I'll be like, wait a minute, can we go back to that thing? Like, flat is a shape? Are you serious? And then, you know, like, should we be arguing this, all the other stuff if we can't even get past the fundamentals? You know, I don't think that's trolling. Like, I think I was speaking genuinely. Like, I meant what I said. My intentions were exactly what the fuck, you know, what I was saying. So, I don't know. But Don can come in here and do something like that, and he'll be fine on... He's banned on way less channels than I am. I think that's interesting.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Another massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this after show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!